There's a lot of apathy that's gone on since the president was elected in 2008, and the unprecedented polarization and the separation of the two parties. It is so all or nothing. It's it's just really ridiculous.
If we could get some people in there that are honest enough to help the Kentucky people and everybody else everywhere else, it's mainly hit Kentucky hard, all that mess. They can get somebody in there that will do the right thing and do their jobs instead of worrying about what they can make from it. I think it'll turn out fine.
Politics just winds down to the end of just picking apart a person. Then what are the real important topics that we're trying to get across? If it's talking about that person's quality and not what's important for our nation or important for our state or important for like the world, why are we talking about all these other things?
I think it is so important that our next generation and our future generations need to understand that that we were once a country that was for the people, by the people. And so your representatives and your congressmen and your senators and your state representatives and all those individuals that we elected in good faith would be representing us. And so much now, all you see is every one of them, from our local representatives all the way up to our state and federal representatives, it's a government for the government, by the government. And the people really have lost their voice. And I say that because if these people were set up to make decisions that was best for their community, best for their constituents, 99% of those decisions are not hard to make. They're pretty well black and white. Yes, this is best for my group. No, this is not best for my group. And they can make that decision. But now your 90% of your laws or 80% of your laws that go on the books every day are made by public corporations. You know, and that's what made this country go round. It's not a fault against it, but we've allowed our system to be controlled by the public corporations. And those publicly traded corporations, if they can't compete with an entrepreneur, an individual starting his new business, then they get a law passed or a regulation passed that no longer allows that individual to compete on a level playing field. So if they can't compete on a level playing field, then they get a new law written to take the private company off of the playing field.
Things are going to go differently now. Things are happening now. Somewhere down the line, if our generation doesn't pay attention to it, it'll be too late. And we need to know, if something's not good, we need to know how it happened, how it got there, and how to change it.
We ought to ask ourselves as Americans, as citizens of this great country, what is it that we want to incentivize? Do we want to incentivize and encourage polarization? Or do we want to force our elected officials to actually have to talk to one another and actually have to solve some problems, and each side forced to actually give a little? And we're not seeing that because, of the money in politics, the way districts are drawn, and a whole host of other issues that would take more time for us to discuss. But in the meantime, the average American is sitting there looking at their television and wondering, how do we get just basic common sense to the table? I'd like to see more people who are not career politicians get engaged in the process and begin to bring a different perspective to some of these issues.
It makes me feel as though I am, again, actively participating in a process that can help everyone. People who have fought, African American people have fought for the right to vote. So by not voting, I feel as though I am dishonoring the sacrifices that have been made on my behalf. So I feel a sense of real obligation and responsibility to continue what has been done for me, and in the hopes that by me doing this, it'll be a model for my children, young people, to the importance of what it is. And one vote can make a difference.